Hello and welcome to another episode of the djproject Criterion Collection. And here we're going to talk about Spine 576, Secret Sunshine, directed by Chang-dong, 2007. Now, I got this title pretty much on a whim. And like I said before, what gets me interested in a title, if it's not based on something that I already know, whether it's a particular director or a particular title, but if I wanted to expand my palette, it's either because I want to expand my palette, either getting into a director or getting into a particular style or getting into a particular country. In this case, it's I wanted to get into a little bit of Korean cinema, or if there's something in the story that I would find that sits well with me. And in this case, it's more often than not, it's character studies that usually drive me into checking out a title. And so this was really no exception to this. Now, as far as Korean cinema, and by that I mean mostly what comes out of South Korea, but this is just for the sake of convenience. I'm just going to refer to it just as Korean cinema. Yes, yes, there are plenty of Korean film directors of note, such as Kim Ji-woon and Park Chan-wook and Kim Ki-duk and others. So and there's a pretty broad spectrum of what you find in Korean cinema. So he's not he's a representative of Korean cinema, not the representative of it. In fact, this particular film to me feels very Bressonian, where it's the narrative is somewhat there, and it's more about this this progression of moments. In this character, and by the way, I'm sorry for this. And if I mispronounce names, I apologize. Jeon Do-yeon is the main actress. In fact, she won the Best Actress award at Cannes in 2007, and it's deservedly so. I mean, she gives a really, really powerful performance. And the story, in so many words, without getting into too many spoilers, which makes this a somewhat difficult film to talk about without getting into spoiler territory. She is a widow who moves with her son to the town her husband grew up in, Myeon. Sorry. And in fact, Myeon is Chinese for Secret Sunshine, so that's where you get the title. And there's a major tragic event in her life that completely unwinds her. Then she finds something that will help her get through it, and then that doesn't work, and then she tries again, and then by the end of it, I think has some kind of terms with it, but it's this strange. Not strange. It's this tumultuous emotional roller coaster of a ride. It's basically a spiritual journey without being overtly spiritual, and that's what makes it really, really interesting for me. Is how do you because I think usually the danger with talking about spiritual things, you either have to, more often than not, the assumption is that you have to be spiritual or religious yourself, and then it can come off as trying to convert people or trying to win over souls or whatnot. But this, I feel, is a case where it is on the one hand, it is a very spiritual journey she goes through, but it's not informed by spirituality, but yet it still works. I don't again, I don't want to get too much into spoilers. I mean, what she does and what she chooses is very it's ultimately very human, and it's not it's I don't think it's making any real claims either way that religion is good or I also don't get that religion is bad. I think it's what this particular woman chooses to do and how she comes about it. It's the rationale that she has that makes it really interesting and also makes it genuine because believe it or not, people go down spiritual paths for all kinds of reasons, and a great many of them are bad ones or wrong ones. I've said this before in talking about black narcissists, that there are bad reasons to join a monastic order. And one of them is the feeling of if you want to escape from some hurt in your past. In other words, you treat it like you are a refuge of your own emotions, or you're trying to be a refugee. You see to it as a refuge. There you go. I'm just lots going on in the head. So yes, I can talk. So yeah, there are bad reasons to go on spiritual paths, and that's probably so yes, that does happen. So that's a little bit what goes on, but it's done with a certain a genuineness and an honesty, and it feels intense, but again, it's also very subdued. It doesn't bleed with or it doesn't overdo it. You don't feel like it's this thing that gushes, but it still radiates. It still is quite powerful in the performances. And I mean, I'm sorry for being a really quick review, because I don't want to get too much into spoilers and everything, but I will say that if you want to see a film, it's not the film that defines Korean cinema, but if you want to see a film that from Korea, and certainly if you want to see another contemporary character piece that touches on the spiritual, and particularly the spiritual in relation to tragedy and coming to terms with one's life but without it being overtly spiritual, or without losing that human touch or that human connection. It's all done at a very, even though if it touches on bigger themes, it never loses that human or personal quality. But if all of that sounds interesting or sounds intriguing, give it a view. So again, I apologize for the brevity of it, but I think this is for the makeup for all the other times where I've I've talked for a considerable length. So, but yeah, Secret Sunshine. And until next time, take care.